Our third speaker is Edgar Ramirez, who will guide our review of professionalism and work ethic. Edgar Ramirez is a manufacturing engineer at Inovio Pharmaceuticals, a company whose goal is to deliver novel DNA-based immunotherapies to combat cancer and infectious disease. Before embarking on his professional ventures, Edgar was an SDSU AMP mentee who was trying to help those in need through various research and development projects around the world. These projects included assisting the elderly population in Taiwan to combat degenerative disease, helping paraplegics regain movement right here at home, as well as enhancing the survivability of big-wave surfers. After graduating, and shortly after landing his first engineering position, Edgar decided to become a mentor and support SDSU students to move their careers forward. Please welcome Edgar to the stage.
Wow, well, thank you for that really warm applause. I appreciate that. So I kind of drafted my presentation and then I didn't really like it because it seemed too corporate, to be honest. So then I thought, well, I gotta first Google what professionalism kind of is, because I don't know the textbook definition of it, I'll be honest, sorry. So then when I found out a really interesting definition, which is professionalism is skill, good judgment, and polite behavior that is expected for someone who is trained to do their job well. So then I thought, well, why expected? That word really piqued my interest here. I thought, well, what constitutes that expectation? What is, good judgment and polite behavior and a good skill set? As a professional, you probably right now, for all you mentors, you're probably answering these questions in your head because they're pretty easy. You have the experience, you have the background. But what if you're a student? When I recently graduated in 2017, I was transitioning from a student intern position into the real world. These questions were pretty tough to answer. And the honest response to that is because I think as students, either you're a student right now, or you were a student, or you will become a student, and we have any young people around here, the reality is that we have an implicit understanding what a professional is. We know what constitutes to be a professional. We know how they look like, no tattoos, clean shaved, nice haircut, well dressed. We have an implicit understanding of how they look like. We have an implicit understanding of how to conduct. And we learn this because as students early on, we know that for them, how do I say this without sounding too corporate, I guess, sorry. Essentially, you know the norms and conventions of what constitutes them. And that to me didn't seem natural. It seemed really boxing the creativity of what a professional is. So in my definition, I redefined what professionalism meant to me. And to me, it's to show great character. Show the greatest version of yourself in your career. And I say this because I'm seeing the room right now, and I see many different people, many different faces, probably all have different stories of how we got here at this moment in time. And that should be accentuated in professionalism. That should be accentuated for professionals. Instead of being robotic and mundane and sorry for saying this, but boring, one can be exciting and raw and genuine and intriguing. It's all good, don't worry. So for me, I wished I would have had a class that kind of taught this in school, and that wasn't really offered. So instead of observing and role modeling as a student, I had to gain my own experience, my own trial and error. So a couple of examples I'm going to throw out there. I learned about time management, and I learned about sympathizing with people, emotional intelligence, when I worked at the rehabilitation lab at school. I'm talking about people who had difficult lives. And honestly, as someone who needs to see them as a test subject, that's kind of hard to detach, and separate that. In Taiwan, I learned about speaking clearly and concisely, but most importantly is speaking with passionately. Because if you're in a conference, for example, it's pretty easy for them to realize that you're probably pretty smart because you're in a conference already. But they want to see the person behind that. They want to see the passion, the drive. Why are you talking about what you're talking right now? And just recently, last year, as a forensic engineer, I learned how to evaluate and really, really hone in the idea of work value and work ethic. Because for someone who is a kind of a workaholic, you kind of cinch in your ideas and your work, and you don't really appreciate how much you do until someone tells you, or until you see the whole project scope. So, that's something to think, and I'm still trying to grow into and comprehend it right now. But kind of to sink it into A&P, all these experiences that I've had, I gained myself, but I didn't know how to name them. I didn't know how to apply them and actually utilize them. And that's where my mentor came in, and she really put these things and categorized them themselves. It was really interesting to see how she helped me with interviews and resumes and how to network and how to actually approach the professional industry. And I thought I was really unprepared for that until she opened my eyes and said, you have the skills. You just need to know how to use them. And that's, I think, what's beautiful about the A&P program itself, which is all our mentors are so giving and they have so much knowledge, and they want to pave the way for the next generation of professionals. That kind of inspired me to do the same. And that's why I'm up here right now. And if anything, I'll kind of end with 3 takeaways of what you should do and what to take from professional and work ethic, which is number 1, show great character. Show and use your personality to pave the way for your own career success. Because we all have different ways to approach a certain career, a certain position in a job, but we all have different stories of how we got there. Number 2, always learn to communicate and be open to learning and sharing your experience with your mentors and your mentees. And the reason I say this is because you don't know how much value your actual experiences are until you communicate them. You don't know that for the way you approach a class or the way you approach an interview, that might be actually really good experience for someone else. And number 3, know that there's always room for growth and improvement. That's something that I'm constantly learning right now in my new job as a manufacturing engineer, how I have all these skills I'm trying to apply them to this new situation and trying to improve on them, and then also teaching my other peers, to sometimes take a chill pill if you're a workaholic, things like that. And if anything, thank you guys for being so attentive, and thank you for listening to my presentation.